we are taught mathematics to calculate, science to experiment, and history to remember. Yet, when it comes to understanding the laws of the country we live in, we often remain unaware. A very good morning to everyone present here. Today, I stand before you to speak on the topic legal education in schools. Is there a case for introducing a subject on constitution and important laws as a part of higher secondary education? India is a country governed by the rule of law. Every right we enjoy and every responsibility we carry is guided by the laws that originates from our constitution. Yet for many citizens, the law remains distant and unfamiliar until a problem arises. This brings us to a very important question. Should young citizens not be educated about the constitution and important laws before they are treated as adults in the eyes of those laws? To answer this question, I will divide my speech into three parts. First, why such a subject is necessary. Second, what this subject will equip students with. Last and most importantly, how this subject can be implemented. Starting with why such a subject is necessary. At the age of 18, a student legally becomes an adult. They gain the right to vote, enter into contract, and can be held accountable for their actions. However, the law does not send a welcome message on one's 18th birthday explaining these responsibilities. While schools do introduce students to fundamental rights and duties, this knowledge is often limited to textbooks and examination. Students know the names of their rights, but not how to use them responsibly or what happens if they are misused. As a result, legal responsibility comes much earlier than legal knowledge. This gap between the knowledge and application is precisely why we need a more structured and practical legal subject. Coming to the next question, what this subject will equip students with? The subject will not equip students merely with legal definitions or sections, but it will equip them with the ability to avoid unnecessary legal hassles by pausing and asking the right questions, like, is this legal? Is this responsible? Will this attract any legal consequences, or am I just one joke away from a legal notice? Yes, you heard me right. Even jokes have legal boundaries. Many people believe that they can say anything about anyone and face no consequences as long as it is presented as a joke. However, recent controversies involving cancellation of shows due to allegedly offensive remarks remind us that even something as simple as humor is not beyond the scope of law. This incident teaches that freedom of speech under the Constitution is subject to reasonable restriction, and what may appear as entertainment to one person may still attract legal consequences. Teaching this balance early would help students to understand that rights are powerful, but they are not careless. And with this, we shift from punishment to prevention. A legally aware society faces fewer conflicts, fewer violations, and more civic harmony. Now let me be very honest. While I was researching for this topic, my inner student kept interrupting me with one concern. One very genuine concern. But what about their academic pressure? Let us see how the subject can be implemented. Implementation does not require overburdening students. The subject can be introduced as graded but low pressure subject by focusing more on debates, discussions, mock situations, role plays, etc. Legal professionals and law students can be involved through guest lectures, workshops, and other interactive sessions. Now, before concluding, let me answer the central question of this topic. Is there a case for introducing a subject? There absolutely is. But we must ask ourselves, is that alone enough? Because the truth is that schools can introduce a subject on constitution and important laws, but no syllabus can create awareness unless we, as citizens, are willing to learn beyond the classrooms. As citizens, we are allowed to raise questions. We are allowed to ask why poverty still exists, why unemployment remains a concern. We are allowed to ask, are we truly independent on the very day which is meant to celebrate our independence, on the very day which is meant to pay tribute to those who sacrificed their lives? We are allowed to question that independence, but we are also responsible to ask, what duty have we fulfilled as citizens? We are allowed to ask why our government has not made our country as clean as others, but we are also responsible to ask why we litter in the first place. We are allowed to demand better public facilities, but we are also responsible for how we treat public properties. When Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose said, "Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga," he inspired a generation to give everything for freedom. That freedom has been achieved Today, the nation does not ask for blood, it asks for responsibility and awareness. In conclusion, this Republic Day, let us promise to act lawfully and let us promise to respect the Constitution which gives meaning to our freedom. Because if India is to shine globally, it must shine on the foundation of truth. Let us keep alive the spirit that refines our nation. Satyame Vijayate. Wishing you all a very happy Republic Day in advance. This is Twinkle Singh signing out. Thank you, Jai Hind.